Our next presenter before the Jum'ah prayer, inshallah, will be Dr. Mohammed El Shobake. He has a PhD in Sharia law from the Islamic University, International Islamic University, Malaysia. He will discuss about the international responsibility for the crime of genocide committed in the Gaza Strip under the international law. Please welcome Dr. Mohammed El Shobake.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay. Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. This is rush time. Everyone want to go to eat something before Salat and also to pray Salat Jum'ah. I will try to be fast. However, the topic is not complicated but quite large topic. When we are talking about legal aspects, it's long issue to discuss. We have many instruments, many conventions, many statutes from international law. However, Israeli didn't follow anyone, okay, and is still continuing and ongoing crimes, atrocities in Gaza. So I will try to be fast, inshallah. Can I move? Can I use that? Yes. This one, huh? Okay, so my paper mainly aim to investigate whether Israeli occupation and crime, especially atrocities and crime since October 7, meet the criteria of genocide. So I discussed the genocide from legal perspective. The second one, I wanted to distinguish between two different responsibility. We have state responsibility under ICJ, International Court of Justice, in which South Africa filed lawsuit to ICJ. And we have another side or another responsibility, we call it individual criminal responsibility by ICC, which is International Criminal Court. So my paper mainly focus on three issues: whether Israeli committed or the description of the crimes considered genocide. And then I differentiate between the two different aspects of responsibility. So these outlines, we have to know the concept of genocide. What are the elements that constitute genocide according to international law, and the Israeli crimes in Gaza Strip. After that, discuss two different responsibility. The first one is state responsibility according to according to Genocide Convention 1948. And then at the end, responsibility for individual according to Rome Statute of ICC 1998. For the concept of genocide, this term coined in 1944 by Raphael Lemkin. He wanted to explain the massacres against Jews, by the way. And then they created the word of genocide. However, Israeli right now committing all the genocide crime in Gaza. The term genocide means genome. This comes from Greek, means genos, means race or tribe, and the Latin word side means killing. Okay, so together come to be the killing of group or the race or tribes. So according to international law, they call genocide crime of crimes because this is the most dangerous and serious crime under international law. The genocide old as history, but the law consider young because we started to have the law to punish on the genocide on 1948 by Genocide Convention, and also after that continued by Rome Statute 1998. For the exact concept of genocide, because usually politically we use this term, but legally we have specific acts. We call it prohibited acts according to Genocide Convention and also ICC. This is a definition. Any of the following act committed with intention. This one we call it specific or special intention. To destroy in whole or in part national, ethical, racial, or religious group. So to have genocide is different from war crimes. War crimes, killing anyone, constitute war crime. But in order to mention the word of genocide legally, we should or we must have the specific intention, destruction of the group in part or in whole. Okay, with these five only acts. The first one, killing member of group. The second one, causing serious bodily or mental harm to member of the group. Number three, deliberately inflicting on the group condition of life, calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. And after that, imposing measures to prevent birth within the group and forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. So if we look at all these elements, okay, I will try to be faster. So we have violation according to this article. We have three elements. The first one, the prohibited acts, which is 5, as I did mention just now. The second part, or the second element, this offense must be directed to against protected people, protected group, nationally, ethically, or religiously group. Number 3, the specific intention, or we call it genocidal intent. Okay, so we have to test. I test this in my paper. Later, inshallah, you can see the paper in the journal after they publish it. Okay, in terms of the prohibited acts, killing member of the group, until yesterday, Israeli killed more than 44,000 of Palestinians, okay, and wounded more than 100,000, more than 10,000 under the rubble. So we have very clear killing of the group and with intention to destruct. How to know that? From the statements of Israeli, as I will show you after this. Number 2, causing serious bodily or mental harm to member of the group. Israeli committed many types of crime causing serious bodily and mental harm. I didn't choose this is roughly, but this is mentioned in ICC and Genocide Convention acts to explain how any party or any member of the states or any country can cause serious bodily or mental harm to protected people. The first one is starvation. I will mention some facts straight away, as many statements from Israeli saying that there is no electricity, no food, no water, nothing for the Palestinian. And this quite recently, on 17 October 2024, UN-backed food security assist revealed that more than 1.8 million Palestinians in Gaza are experiencing extremely critical level of hunger. And this is very clear, starvation. And Israel used the starvation as a means of war and a means of genocide. Number 3, persecution is very general. According to ICC statute, persecution means intentionally and severe deprivation of fundamental rights contrary to international law. Very clear, Israeli deprived the Palestinians from the right to life by killing them, by right to housing, by destruction of their houses, by right also preventing them from right to healthcare by bombing the hospitals and clinics, and also even the tents. When they move from their house, disable them from the houses, they move to tents. It's not even protecting them from the winter and the cool. However, Israeli burning and also bomb the tents. In addition to besiege Gaza and disable them from the houses and treating them as a human animal, as mentioned by Yoav Galan at the beginning of the war. Number 3, deportation of the Palestinians, disabling them from houses. According to United Nations Humanitarian Coordinator in Gaza, more than 1.9 million Palestinian people are currently disabled in the Gaza Strip. So mostly more than 90% of the Palestinian. Detention of the Palestinian, more than 5,000 Palestinians under the Israeli arrested them. 1,000 of them in forced disappearance for them, means Israeli take them without knowing their fate, and also their families do not know whether they're still alive or whether they are in the prison. This more than 5,000, that means we do not have specific statistics for that. Okay? Maybe reach to more than 10,000. We do not. Torture of the Gazan, they use many ways to torture the Palestinian, especially when they jail them, arrest them, including violent shaking, beating them, and also the shackles. Many Palestinians, many hands of the Palestinian were cut off because of the shackles. Okay, this is not according to my statements. This even Israeli journal mentioned that, an Israeli doctor mentioned that. Repeatedly stripping them, electrocution means torture them by electricity, systematic starvation, preventing them from food, from sleeping, from medical care, unleashing the dogs against them, and other many ways. Torturing them even reached to the point of killing, according to Israeli journals and also some ministers like Minister of Detainees and ex-detainees affairs in Gaza. They said at least, we do not know the specific number, 54 Palestinians were killed during this time in the prison. Sexual violence and rape. Independent International Commission recently in their report, September 2024, they did mention it clearly that at least 20 cases of sexual and gender-based violence against male and female detainees in 10 military Israeli prisons, including the most recent case, which went viral when a group of Israeli in Sidi Taiman prison took one Palestinian, and then they cover themselves using the armaments, and then they raped him. And this is viral. If you go online, you can see this video, very horrible video. So the sexual violence used also for punishment, and they did mention independent international commission. By the way, this commission established by Human Rights Council, which is one organ of United Nations. So this is very formal, It's not NGOs. It's very formal commission. They mention Israeli motivated by deep hatred against the Palestinian and desire to dehumanize them. It's very clear when they did mention at the beginning of the war, we are not fighting a human, we are fighting human animals. From very beginning, they dehumanize the Palestinian from the humanity. And after that, intentionally inflicting on the member or on the group condition of life. They make that life difficult by not necessarily restricted to deliberate deprivation of sources. They do not have Palestinian now, they do not have the food, they do not have the water, even the medical services, and also systematic expulsion from homes. So at least 3 acts fulfilled. From my research, at least 3 acts fulfilled from the 5 acts of genocide. In terms of whether Palestinian protected group, yes, because they are national group and ethnic group. They are ethno-national group native to the region of Palestine. And according to independent commission, just I did mention to you just now, they mentioned that Gaza, West Bank, and West Jerusalem occupied area and belong to Palestinian. And according to advisor opinion from ICJ, also recently, when they mentioned the occupation in Palestine is illegal. Okay, so Palestinian protected group in Gaza. Number 3, specific intent. I did mention, I just wrote here because I'm doing one submission to ICC, by the way, and right now with my Aqsa Foundation from Malaysia. So I gathered more than 50 statements from Israeli showing the special intent of genocide. One of them, when the Yoav Galan mentioned, we will eliminate everything. Odi, one of the member of Knesset, he said, your children will die, your grandchildren will die. There won't be any Palestinian state. And also another one from Minister of National Missions of Israel. There are no Palestinian people. There are no such people. And they mentioned many statements showing the genocidal intent. Okay. So from this, it's very clear that Israeli committing genocide in Gaza. A few days ago, South Africa submitted around 500 pages to ICJ to explain the genocide in Gaza. And this will take time because Israeli will respond in July 2025. That means our journey with ICJ is very long, okay? So when we are talking we have now, after we explain the elements of genocide and the applicability of the elements in the crimes committed in Gaza, I want just differentiate between the 2 different responsibilities. The first one, we have state responsibility according to Genocide Convention 1948. This is the case of South Africa. So South Africa case not aimed to prosecute Israeli individual and punish them by capital punishment or imprisonment. No, it's only to mention there is responsibility for Israel as a state, between brackets, because we do not recognize Israel as a state, by the way. And this is the process I did mention. I don't want to repeat all the process. Just to mention to you, ICJ issued provisional measures during this time, during this war, starting from March 2024. And after that, also in April, in July, provisional measures to stop the genocide, or they said Israel must stop all the actions that could amount to genocide, because they didn't decide yet whether this is genocide or not. Starvation, about the operation in Rafah, if you remember also, Israeli didn't follow anything. When Algeria took this issue to Security Council, America used veto power, so everything failed. Okay, so this is just to know the procedure according to ICJ. 28 October, submission of South Africa, 500 pages. We are waiting for Israel to respond 28 July 2025. While the Israeli continuing killing the Palestinian, committing genocide. It's a very long journey. Okay, so many countries decided to intervene, like Colombia, Nicaragua, Libya, Mexico, Palestine, Spain, Turkey, Chile, Maldives, and Bolivia. Malaysia, not part of them, because Malaysia reserved some article which prevent them from joining this case, by the way. Okay. Important notes. This is about just ICJ. I don't want just to repeat all of this. I want to show you the picture. This is the Peace Palace. This is the place of ICJ, or the building of ICJ. And we have here 15 judges. It's not only 3 like local court. We have 15 judges. And this court, quite old court compared to ICC, because this court established in 1945 and then continuing doing the activities starting in 1946. Okay. So what we aim, what is the result? What would be the result of ICJ case to decide whether Israeli responsible or not? This number one. Number two, as Israeli or force Israeli, I do not know how they can force Israel, but they will call Israel to halt and stop the genocide, and also providing reparation. Reparation means restitution, return the situation, the first stage as the crime didn't exist at all, and compensation, paying compensation. So we can say ICJ is civil court, not criminal court. At the end, they will decide to stop the action, give the people some money, and that's all. Okay, but it's quite important for us to prove the genocide against Israel and take all the evidence from ICJ and go to ICC. Okay, so this considered stage to go to ICC. And also, they can raise all the cases to all the results to Security Council, but we know what will happen if the ICJ raise the case to Security Council. It's easy for US to use the veto power to stop everything. Okay, last point, ICC. What is ICC? ICC, this is the permanent international criminal court. The only one permanent international court. Previously, we had temporary courts for Rwanda, Yugoslavia, Tokyo, but right now we have permanent, established 1998, started their work 2002, and this is considered the court to prosecute individuals. Like recently, they issued arrest warrant against Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant. Okay, so whether they can take any action against them, I don't think so, because previously they issued arrest warrant against Putin, nothing happened. Before that, against Kenyatta, the president of Kenya, nothing happened. Al-Bashir, the president of Sudan, nothing happened. So I do not have great hope, unfortunately, to say that we will see the Israeli in the prison, but at least we have to do more pressure on the Israeli at the legal side. The legal side is very complicated, and international law is quite weak to prevent the genocide and also to prosecute the Israeli. But we have to continue in this way, as we continue also in the media side and political side, and also on all aspects. So this is ICC. This is a building of ICC. Okay. So what's happening in ICC? We reach to what stage? Unfortunately, there is no deadline in ICC. Here in Malaysia, if anyone committed any crime in any local country, Malaysia, in Palestine, or any place, there is certain time for the police to take action, 28 hours, or after that, you have to go to the court. The court, they have a specific time, reach around 6 months, and after that, you have to release. You have to take action very fast. According to ICC's statute, no deadline. When the public prosecutor for ICC opened the, not investigation, they call it preliminary examination, it started 2015, end 2021, after 6 years. Just preliminary investigation or preliminary examination. When they started the investigation 2021 for the Israeli crimes committed in 2014, war 2014, They didn't finish until yet. However, Israel committed many wars after that. Okay, so when this war started, public prosecutor Karim Khan gathered all the evidence from this war and the previous war, and put all this. I should take this and throw it to the public prosecutor. Okay, and then nothing happened. This very long, but the only advance, we can call it the advance in this case, advancement, when the court, the first chamber court, issued the arrest warrant against Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant. However, ICC to prosecute not only the leaders, the commanders and the soldiers. In my submission with my Aqsa, I collected more than 100 names of the Israeli commander who committing the real crimes right now in Gaza. Okay, which is, that's what we want to, not only the leaders, Netanyahu, yeah, we want Netanyahu, Yoav Gallant and Ben Gvir, Smotrich, but we want the soldier and commander who really committing the crime by the weapons and also by the orders from the leaders. So we have to submit. When we do any submission, we shouldn't only select the leader's name. Okay, that what we work on, to gather more names and collect more names, especially for the commanders of all the Israeli groups and all the Israeli fighters. Okay, so for ICJ, at the end of the presentation, I want to be quite fast. So ICC pre-trial chamber rejected Israeli challenges, because Israeli challenged after the arrest warrant issued against Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant, and they said no, affirming court jurisdiction and validity of the arrest warrant. So what is the difference between, the main difference between ICJ and ICC? ICJ, this is civil court for state responsibility only, while ICC, this is a criminal case for the individual. So they are not mentioning states, but they will mention names of the perpetrator of crime. So if you ask me question, is International Criminal Court effective, or is ICJ, International Court of Justice procedure, effective? Unfortunately, we have many weaknesses. However, we have to continue in this way, but we have many weaknesses, because the result of ICJ will go to the Security Council for enforcement, and it's easy. US, you can always, you see the picture of the representative of US raising the hand, means object, veto power, stop everything. And then if there is the case, ICJ to ICC, ICC will take very long time, maybe 9 years, maybe 10 years, and Israeli continuing committing the crime. And at the end, because Israel decided not to cooperate with the court, not to give any evidence, even not to allow them to visit Israel or to visit occupied Palestine, which is West Bank and Jerusalem. So how can the ICC take action against the Israeli? If they, there is no here, according to ICC, there is no way to prosecute the individual if they are not existed in the court. So means we have to arrest Netanyahu to start the jurisdiction. Otherwise, we are just giving talks, giving decisions without any enforcement. Just I will mention to you at the end of my presentation, very important statements from Karim Khan, ICC prosecutor, recently, a few months ago. He did mention that he received threats while conducting investigation against top Israeli official, with the senior figures, I guess, from US, telling him the court was built for Africa and for thugs like Putin, not for West and its allies. Just to show us why we have many African cases under ICC, but when we have the Palestinian case, that will take very, very long time. I don't think so. I don't want to be pessimistic, but I don't think so we will reach to the conclusion with this case. However, we have to fight. We have to fight not only by hands, not only by weapons. We have to fight by media. We have to fight by political way. We have to fight by legal way. We have to collect and having and putting, imposing more pressure on Israel in all aspects, and preventing them from traveling to Europe, as some countries in Europe decided to surrender Netanyahu if he traveled to that countries. So it's very important to do this. Legal way is complicated, and international law in terms of not wholly, in terms of diplomatic relations and other things, commercial issues is quite beneficial, but in terms of maintaining peace and security is still very weak. Thank you very much for hearing me, and we hope we get something.